Hi everyone, this is the 2019 Junior Cert bookkeeping question. It's for the company Food to Go Ltd, and what we're being asked to do is completely analyse cash book for the company and then post the figures to the relevant ledgers. So what we have in an analysed cash book is we have a debit side. This is debit, and that's money coming into the business, and we have a credit side, which is money going out of the business. Okay, so your debits are money coming in and your credits are money coming out. So our debit columns are date, details, bank, sales, VAT and capital. I'll just put a little line there so you can see that's the end of the debit side. On the credit side, we've got date, details, bank, purchases, VAT, wages and electricity. So what happens there is the company has a bank account where either money is going to come in on the debit side or money is going to go out of the company on the credit side. So you can see your bank account there, your bank account there, which is common, and then you've got your different ledger headings, which sales, VAT and capital on the debit side, and purchases, VAT, wages and electricity. So what you have to think about is, say if the money comes into the business in the bank column, where has that money come from? Has it come from sales, has it come from VAT, or has it come from capital? And then if money on the credit side is going out from the bank account, where has that gone to? Has it gone from purchases, VAT, wages or electricity? And we'll see how that works as we go through the question. So the first transaction is the first of the fifth. The shareholders are investing into the company. So if the shareholders are investing in the company, it means money is coming in. So that money has to go on the debit side because, as we said, it's money coming in. So we take the date, which is the first to the fifth. It's the capital, so share capital coming into the business, and that 21,500 has come into the company's bank account. Where has that come from? Sales, VAT or capital? It's come from capital. So that first one's fairly straightforward. The next one now is sales. So they sold goods, in other words. So if they sell goods, they make money from it. So that has to be money coming in as well. So 4 to the 5th, sales. Now, there's €12,000 that the company will receive, and there's also 13.5% which will go to the government. So when you're doing this question, the full amount is going to come into the business's bank account. So it's the 12,000 and the VAT at 13.5%. But what the business will have to do is they'll have to separate it because that VAT figure will actually go to the government. So what you have to do is, well, you write your 12,000, that's the sales figure. And then you have to get 13.5% of 12,000. When you do that on your calculator, 12,000 multiplied by 13.5%, you get 1,620. So that 1,620 is VAT, and then the full combined figure, the 12,000 and the 1,620, is what goes into the bank account, and that's 13,620. So the reason for that is the full amount will come into the company's account, because when someone buys from this company, from Food to Go Ltd, they will pay them the full amount, but then they'll have to separate the VAT from that. So 12,000 will be sales and 1,620 will be VAT. Okay, on to the next transaction. So paying wages, so that's going to be money going out. So we have our first credit one here. So 6 to the 5th, it's wages, and it's 3,000 out of the company bank account, and you look at your headings and that's gone to wages. We have purchases now, and purchases similar to sales has got a VAT, but this time, because we're buying goods or service, or Food to Go, we're buying goods and services, that's going to be money going out, so that's going to go on the credit side. So 15th of the 5th, purchases, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to get the VAT, the 5,600, and the VAT at 13.5%, and that full amount is being paid by Food to Go to another company. So they're going to have to look at it as a sale, the other company down the line, and separate the VAT, but we have to pay the full amount inclusive of VAT. So 5,600 will be purchases. To get the VAT, you have to multiply 5,600 by 13.5% on your calculator. When we do that, you get 756, which means the company is paying the full amount to the other business of 6,356. Okay. So the next one then is paying electricity. Again, money going out. So 23rd to the 5th, electricity, and that's 670 out of the company bank account. And you look at your headings, and we have electricity there. So 670 has gone to electricity. And then we have more wages on the 27th to the 5th, again going out. So wages, and it's 2,850, which means that's again going to go into the wages account, 2850. So what we've done now is we've taken all the figures, the transactions above in the box, and put them into the analysed cash book. So now what we have to do is we have to total these. So I'm just going to bring this down just a little bit. So we're going to total each of the columns: the electricity, wages, VAT, purchases, capital sales, and capital, VAT and sales, sorry, and then we'll leave bank just for a minute. So I'm just going to switch the colour here to say a green. And I'm just going to add these up. So I'm going to go from the credit across, doesn't matter what order you put them in. So electricity is 670, wages is 5850, VAT 756, purchases 5600, capital 21500, VAT again 1620, and sales 12,000. Okay, so what we've done here is we just added up what our total was for each of the columns. Skip a line as well, because you will have to put your balance in a minute, which is your balance CD, and that will all go on the smaller side, the side that the bigger one takes over, so the side that's smaller essentially. And how we get that is add up the debit bank figures and add up the credit bank figures. So if I add up the debits first, so I add up the figures in the bank column for capital and sales, 21500 and 13,620. When you put them into a calculator, on the debit, you're going to get 35120. So 35120 is what you get when you add up your bank debits. And we do that on the credit side, so you add up the wages, 3,000, purchases, 6,356, electricity, 670, and wages, 2,850. You get a credit of 12,876. So what you do here, guys, is the bigger one takes over. So what is bigger, 35120 or 12876? Well, clearly 35120 is bigger. So that's going to go in both of the totals in the bank columns. And now what we have to do is we have to balance the account. Well, we've kind of seen now that the credit side was smaller. So what do we have to add to the credit side to make it the same, the 35120? So what we have to do, I'm just going to switch to a red here. We've already established that we have to put our balance CD, our balance carry down on the credit side. So 31st to the 5th, always go at the last date of the month. Balance CD. And what you do is you just say 35,120 minus 12,876. So in other words, the bigger one minus the smaller one. And when you do that, you get a figure of 22,244. Okay, so 22,244. So now when you add up 3,000, 6,356, 670, 2,850 and 22,244, it equals 35120. So bigger minus smaller is how you get the balance CD. So the difference between the transactions on the debit side and the credit side for the month was 22,224. So we've now closed off that account for the month of May, which means now what we're going to do is we're going to go into June with a balance BD of 22,244. Okay, so that's the analysed cash book part of the question complete. So there's just one last part of this question where I asked you how much money is in the Food to Go Ltd bank account at the end of the month. Essentially, that basically means what's the difference between the debits and the credits. In essence, our balance CD, our balance BD, which is 22,244. So that's the first part of the question, which is the analysed cash book. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and post these figures to the relevant ledger accounts. So basically what we call these is T accounts, because it's got date details total on the left hand side, the debit side, and date details total on the right side, which is the credit side. And we've got 6 of them in total, which you'll see. Okay, and what we do is we have to firstly name these accounts. So these accounts are the same names as the columns in our analysed cash book. So we have sales, VAT, capital, Purchases, now we already have a VAT, so we don't have to duplicate that. Wages and electricity. So I'm going to fill them in now. So sales account. VAT account. Capital account. Purchases. As I said, we already have a VAT account, so we don't have to duplicate it or create it again. Wages and electricity. So the names of these accounts are the same as the columns in the analysed cash book. Right, so let's start with sales. There's a rule here. What we say in bookkeeping, that every debit has to have a credit. So if it's on the debit side in the analysed cash book, it's going to be on the credit side in the ledgers, these T accounts. And the numbers or the figures that we're going to be using are these total ones here. So the sales, the VAT, the capital, purchases, the VAT again, the wages, and the electricity. So that green total part is what we're going to be posting to the relevant ledgers. So as I said to you already, if it's in the analysed cash book, if it's on the debit side in the cash book, it's going to be on the credit side in these T accounts. So what we do is we go down to our sales account first, so we can see the 12,000 there in our sales account. So if it was debit in the cash book, it's going to be credit in the ledger. So because it was on the debit side up there, it's going to be on the credit side here. So what we're going to do is we're going to say the end of the month, which is the 31st to the 5th. It's come from the analysed cash book, the bank column in the analysed cash book, and the total there was €12,000. Okay, 12,000. So now what we have to do is, just change the colour here, we have to just balance that account out for the month. We only have one figure there, which is 12,000. So we need to do our balance CD, our balance BD, and our totals. So in essence, we're going to be putting the 12,000 in 5 times. So 31st to the 5th, balance CD, which is 12,000. Because you have to remember, it's almost as if it's 12,000 on one side and nothing on the other. So it's a balance like we did above in the analysed cash book, the bigger minus the smaller. So 12,000 minus 0 is 12,000. So on the 31st to the 5th, our balance CD was 12,000, which means that the company, is going to start the 1st of June with, I'll put it in red, balance BD 12,000. Okay, so now we've closed off that account. It means we're going to move into June with a balance BD of 12,000. Okay, the next account is our VAT account. And this is probably the trickiest one to do, but you're going to do similar to what you did in the analysed cash book, with the bigger minus the smaller. So if we go back up for a second, we can see, well, we have a debit VAT figure of 1,620 and a credit VAT figure of 756. So the same rule is going to apply. We'll start with the VAT on the debit side, 1620. Well, if that's on the debit side in the analysed cash book, it's going to be on the credit side in the ledger account. So 31st to the 5th, we're going to call that bank sales because it came from sales. And we're going to post that figure that was up in the question, which is 1,620. And then we're going to go back up and look at our credit one, which was 756. So now we're going to put that one, because it was credit here, it's going to go on the debit side in here. So 31st to the 5th, bank, and it's coming from purchases, so bank purchases, and it's 756. And now we're in a position like we've been in an analysed cash book where the bigger one's going to take over. So which is bigger, 1620 or 756? Well, clearly 1620 is bigger. So the 1620 is going to take over. And what we know now is our 756 side is smaller. So that's the side that's going to have our balance CD on it. So 31st to the 5th, balance CD. And to get that number, like we did above, it's bigger minus smaller. So on your calculator, 1,620 minus 756, and you're going to get 864. Okay, so 864. So the 1st to the 6th, balance BD 864. Now I put that in red on both sides because that's generally the one students kind of struggle with, is because you have two figures, but it's literally, go back to what you did above in the analysed cash book when you had your debit of 35120, you had your credit of 12,876. It was bigger minus smaller, and the figure of 22244 came from that. So you just do the exact same thing again in the VAT account. So now you have a balance BD of 864. Okay, capital account is next. So again, if we go up to capital, we'll see that it's 21,500. It's on the debit side. So that means it's going to be posted on the credit side here. So 31st to the 5th, coming from the bank from the analysed cash book. So bank, and it is a figure of 21,500. So 21,500. Now, same again. So we're going to just balance that out. So we have nothing on the far side, so balance CD 21,500, total it out 21,500, 21,500, which means we are going to start June 1st to the 6th with a balance BD of 21,500. Right, so on to our next one, which is the purchases. So you can see above that the purchases, these figures were on the credit side here, so they're going to be debit in the ledgers, and it's 5,600. So I'm going to put it on this side, 31st to the 5th, come from the bank account in the analysed cash book, and it's 5,600. So same again. Blue here, there's nothing on the far side, so we're going to balance it out. 31st to the 5th, balance CD 5,600, total amount 5,600, 5,600, which means that on the 1st to the 6th, balance BD is 5,600. On to the next one now, which is wages. So with the wages, it was credit above, credit of 5,850. So we're going to put it on the debit side here. 31st to the 5th, bank, and it's 5,850. Again, same idea, nothing on the far side, so let's balance it out. Total them 5,850, 5,850, and then in our red, start next month with 5,850. And the last one, so nearly done, is electricity. So back up to electricity, and it's 670. So that 670 is going to go, because it was credit up there, it's going to go on the debit here. So last day of the month, 31st to the 5th, bank from the analysed cash book, and electricity was 670. So let's total them up. And 31st to the 5th, balance CD 670, total there, and on the 1st of the 6th, your balance BD was 670. So what we've done now is we've done everything that the exam papers have asked us to do. We have taken the figures from the food to go questions, transactions, we posted them to the analysed cash book. We found what we have left at the end of the month, which is the 22,244. And then what we've done is we've taken the figures from the analysed cash book and we've posted them to the relevant ledgers. Now, that was what the exam papers had asked you to do. You can be asked sometimes to do a trial balance, and this is good because What a trial balance does is a trial balance will make sure you haven't made a mistake along the way. So you've inputted your figures into the bookkeeping part correctly. So essentially what you'll do is you'll take each of the ledgers you've created and the bank column from the analysed cash book. And all you do is, if we look at what we've put in red here, so all our reds, going back up to the analysed cash book, we've got the bank, the 22244. So we're looking at the 1st of June, the 1st to the 6th columns here. What we do is we just take the figures that we put in our balance BD for the 1st to the 6th, and if it's on the debit side, it will go on the debit side of the ledger, and if it's on the credit side, the balance, it'll go on the credit side of the ledger. So if we start with, sales is what we start with. So we see the 12,000 there, the 1st to the 6th. Well, that 12,000 is, that 12,000 there you can see is on the credit side. So I'm going to just put the 12,000 in here. So bear with me 1 sec. Put the 12,000 in here. So you're just matching it to the side the balance BD is on. So the 12,000 there. VAT of 864. That's going to go in here. Capital 21,500. That was on that side, so it's going to go here. 21,500. Purchases 5,600. Well, that was debit, so purchases 5,600. Wages 5,850. Electricity is 670. So again, we're just looking for all our red balance BDs here. Whoops, sorry, 670. There eventually. And the last one is the bank, because remember we did do that in the analysed cash book as well, and it's 22244. Now, if you're asked to put a trial balance together, this is all you do. You take the ledger title, sales, VAT, capital, purchase, wage, electricity, and don't forget your bank, because that was a column as well in the analysed cash book. And you're just looking at the red, the balance BD figures, and you're putting them on whatever side that was on. So when you add up 12,000, when you add up 12,864 and 21,500, you get 34364. And when you add up 5,600, 5,850, 670, and 22244, you should also get 34364. Now, in 2019, they didn't ask you to complete a trial balance, but from the bookkeeping point of view, as a student, you still need to be able to do that. So if this ever does come up, you need to know what to do. So when you're extracting a trial balance, you're just taking the balance BDs, the 1st of June figures for each of your accounts. You're putting them on what side they appeared on, and it's just a way to check to make sure they balance out, essentially, that you should get the same answer. So guys, that's the 2019 question plus a bonus trial balance to help you in your study of bookkeeping.